play Space Hulk Death Angel, the card game. This is what's in the box. We have a rule book, we have a dice, a whole bunch of tokens and a whole bunch of cards. First thing we're going to do is set up the Gene Stealer deck, and the Gene Stealer deck has these packs, and then the event deck. The event deck looks like this, so this has these packs. Okay, so this is the first part to set up. Gene Stealer deck, event deck, shuffled and placed at the top of the play area. The next thing we do is we find the void lock location card for the appropriate number of players, and we're playing one player, so let's go find that card. And we're going to play one player, so this is the void lock card. These are the important numbers here and why they're different on each card. For a single player, we're going to use, they've got these 6, 6, and the number kind of goes up, 7, 8, 9, depending on the number of players. And then we have this number here, and this number here. So this is for, on the left here is for major spawn, and this on the right is for minor spawn. We'll explain those when we see them. At this point, the important thing is this location deck setup, because that's going to be our next step. So these other cards go back to the box. We're playing one player. We're going to use this void lock card, and we're going to recognise these numbers here. Location deck setup 2, 3, 4, and that's going to tell us how to set up in the next step. So we're going to do that right now. This goes up here. So now we're going to set up our location deck. These are the location cards. There's lots of them. And each one of these has a different number on the back. We're going to keep them face down because these are secret locations. And they're going to represent different places on board Space Hulk that we're going to travel as we try and defeat this game. There's lots of cards, but we're only going to use 3 for the game. The rest will go back in the box. So you can see that every time you play the game, you know, chances are you're going to get a different combination of locations. So there's some variability here for replay. And whether you're playing 1 player, 2 player, 3 players, up to 6, depends which locations you get. So our void lock card told us we need a 2 location, a 3 location, and a 4 location. So there's 2, 3, 4. There's only 3 of each card. So we just need to sort these. Grab 1 of each number, and the rest are going to go back in the box. This is 2, 3, 4. So we just need to randomise these, give them a shuffle, and then grab 1 from each. 4, 3, 2. So this is going to be our location deck for the game. Now the next stage of the setup is to choose our combat teams. Right, to choose our combat teams, we're going to use these tokens. Each one of these tokens has a colour that represents the team that we're going to play. It has this little graphic on there as well. So we're just going to randomly, now for a single player, we're going to choose 3 teams. So we're just going to randomly pick 3 combat teams from these 6, and the other 3 will go back in the box. Now we have our combat team. We need to find the action cards for that team. So these are the action cards. Not these. These are the action cards, and they have the coloured back, and they have different actions on the front side. There's 3 types of actions: support, attack, move, and activate. So I want to get those 3 cards for each of my teams. So I've got the blue team, the yellow team, and this grey team. And the other action cards for the other 3 teams go back in the box. The next step is to get the actual Space Marines. There's actual Space Marine cards for each of those teams. There's 2 Space Marines in each team. So I've got the blue team, the yellow team, and this grey team. And the other Space Marine cards go back in the box. Now we need to randomise these. This is tricky because they're all face up, you know, and you can't help feeling when you're randomising, when you're shuffling. Right, they say do it under the table, so yeah, you can shuffle under the table. The other thing you could do is just roll the dice, which is what I like to do. To set up the formation, you just place the cards in a vertical line, like this. Okay. I've pulled back a little bit so you can see the formation in place, and I've set up the terrain cards. On the void lock card here, it shows you where to put terrain. So we have this symbol 1 down on the left, this symbol 3 down on the left, this symbol 3 up on the right, this symbol 2 up on the right. These are the symbols on these terrain cards here, these little symbols here. So this is what the location cards give you. Okay. So this one is the door 1 down on the left, this dark corner 3 down on the left, the corridor 2 up on the right, and the ventilation duct 3 up on the right, as indicated here. The next thing we do is actually spawn our gene stealers. To do this, we draw a card from the event deck, and we ignore everything on this event deck. For the setup, we ignore everything except these spawn points. A major on yellow, a minor on red, and this gets discarded. According to our void lock card, a major spawns 2 gene stealers, and a minor spawns 1 gene stealer. So we have 2 gene stealers on yellow, and 1 gene stealer on red. Cool. Alright, now we're ready to play. So, on your game round, first thing you do is choose your actions. Then you resolve it, then you do the gene stealer attack, and then you do the event phase. Right, what am I going to do for this turn? Well, I think my grey guys are going to move and activate. I think my blue team will attack, and I could attack with my yellows, but there's only 1 here. Move and activate. No, I think I'm going to support with my yellow team. So the next thing then is to sort these into numerical order. We do the lowest one first. That's 2, 8, and then 13. So we're going to do our support action first for the yellow team. So for the support action, I'm going to place a support token here. That's that one done. Move and activate for the grey team. It says here, after resolving this card's action, you may discard 1 card from either blip pile, and you can spend 1 support token to discard 1 card from the other blip pile. So, movement-wise, I'm gonna move this guy. I'm gonna keep this guy the same. Now I can change facing if I wish on my grey guys. I'm not going to keep them facing this to the left. And now I can activate. So with this guy, I'm going to activate this door. And what the door says is place 1 support token on this card when you activate it. So 1 support token here. And now I can do my special and remove discard a card from the blip pile and spend 1 token to do the same from the other. So that's 1 gene stealer from each blip pile. Remember, my aim is to get through at least one of these blip piles as quickly as possible, so that we can travel to the next location. Right, next is attack. So the blue team is going to attack, lead by example. So for my first action, I'm going to have Sergeant Lorenzo here. He's facing to the right, and he has a range of 2, which means he can attack anyone on the right, because he's facing, within 2. So you can attack 1 here, within 1, or within 2. So we're going to attack this guy here with our with Sergeant Lorenzo, and what I'm looking for is a skull on the dice roll. And that's a skull on there. So that's a 1, so we kill this one, and it goes to the discard pile. And then, with Brother Dano, he's going to attack this one here. There's 2 here, so we can only kill one of them. And we've got a 3 with a skull, so that's another. They're both identical, so we'll just discard one of those. And then it says, when one of your Space Marines slays a Gene Stealer, you can place a support token on any of your Space Marines. So I'm going to place a support token on Brother Scipio again, because he's now got to defend this attack from this Gene Stealer. These cards that we've used now, they're going to remain face down there, because I won't be able to use them next turn. So the rule says that once you use an action on one turn, you can't use that same action on the next turn. So the way I do that is I'll just discard them face down here on the table, and then what's left in my hand is what I'm going to be using for next turn. Okay, so now we've resolved the actions phase, we can go on to the Gene Stealer attack phase. Any Gene Stealers from the top down, left to right, will attack any Space Marine they're engaged with. And the way they do that is not skulls this time, but we use the numbers. This is numbered 0 to 5. If I roll a number less than or equal to the number of Gene Stealers, then this Space Marine is killed. So a 0 or a 1 will kill my Space Marine, 2, 3, 4 or 5, and he survives. So let's roll the dice. That's a 1. Now what you can do, because Brother Scipio here is facing the Gene Stealer, I can use 1 support token to re-roll the dice. There wasn't a special on here, was there? No. Sometimes these actions give you a special defense type thing. A 4, okay, that time it's a miss. Right, so we survived the attack by using our support token. So that was the idea of putting that support token there, because he was facing off that Gene Stealer. Now we move to the event phase, and from this part we draw a card, the top one of the event deck, and we get Chaos of Battle. The first thing you do is follow the text. Change every Space Marine's facing. Gosh. So everyone turns around. Well, that's a bit disruptive. So we've all gone a little bit confused. So we've done the text. Now we start from the left and we work across. So we've got 2 minor spawns, one on red and one on yellow. So red first over here, on the right hand side. 1 Gene Stealer. And then yellow is here, so 1 more here. That's 2 on there. And now we do this movement. So what we're looking for is any Gene Stealers that have this icon on them. Well, none of mine do actually. This has this curved claw. This one has 3 claws, like a foot. So does that one. So no movement. And that's the end of this event. We discard this event. Now we move on to our next turn.